Hey guys, welcome to the Political live stream. We're currently live right now, and we're going to talk about many different things. So, I want to say hi to all of you that we currently have in the chat at this time. And, I wanted to, thank y'all for coming. And, hey guys, and it's very good. Oops, sorry about that. Let me do that. Okay, sorry, I had my computer open. So that's kind of sound weird for a couple minutes, but so I want to thank all of you for coming. I know Brady's here, Chris Marios is here, Khan is here, Abe Hill is here. A lot of you I've known you from my channel for a couple times. So yeah. So can you guys hear me? That's the most important thing right now. Please tell me, put yeah or a thumbs up in the comment section to make sure that you guys can hear me at this time. I'm going to start talking about some things that I've heard. Hi, Progressive Rising, how are you? In the chat. So, Chris Marios, I know he's from Cyprus. That's a cool place. So, and he's saying, the U.S. doesn't have, they have 300 million people to run for president, essentially. Why don't they run better candidates? I don't know, but remember, it's all the world of politics, and politicians in general are not so great. That's one current thing that we're always going to see. So, just want to make sure that you guys can hear me. And if you guys want to submit anything you guys want to see, so do you want to ask me questions? We could talk about some Senate, House races. We could do a live prediction. That would be pretty fun. So, whatever you guys want to do, I'll be able to do at this time. Do you guys want me to put the face cam on so I can have a little webcam on the bottom? If so, please put so in the chat. The sound is fine. Thank you so much. So I'm going to put webcam on the side or no webcam. It's up to you guys. Should marijuana be legal? I think it should not. Because, if you start encouraging drugs, that would be bad. But essentially, there's one benefit that if you make it legal, people would stop doing it. But again, that would lead to people, instead of being addicted because it's legal, they're going to be addicted to something else. So no. Face cam would be cool. So I will do that right now. Let me fix that on my software. So you can see that. So let me add the face cam right there. Hold on. Okay, so, yeah, I'm going to add that right now. So to all of these, I'm going to add a face cam. Let me see how this works. I don't know. Let's see. So I'm trying to figure this out. I think you guys can see me now with the face cam head kind of covering my, right there. So we're going to currently show you, can I do a hypothetical LTE versus REP prediction? Yeah, I'll be able to do that. So there we go. We have our, let's go to Chrome so I can use, so want to see if you guys can see that. Yeah, you can. Let me quickly go fix something right here with my computer so I don't have to deal with this later. Okay, so we have that, and whoops. Can you guys still see my face cam? Maybe not. Let me delete that one. Let me see. I don't know if you guys can see me with a face cam. If so, please tell me down in the section with the comments or the chat, because I'm having a little bit difficulty, but I think I'll be able to do it. Okay, I think you guys can see it along with this. So you guys can see my screen. If I go here, okay, yeah, you guys can see it. So, hey, you see, you're in the chat, whatever, hi. Lots of tactics in this. Okay, so I'm gonna do, okay, when you do you want to be president? I actually can't be president because I'm currently not, I wasn't born in the U.S. No, shut up, there you go. I can't be a U.S. citizen, I am a U.S. citizen, I just can't be president because I wasn't born here. However, that would be a cool thing to do. So, you guys can see me now, so I figured out, I sorted it out, that's cool. And essentially, I'm gonna do the prediction that you guys wanted me to do. A radical politics against, LTE, and I'm gonna be answering Yeah, that sucks. I'm gonna buy the program. It's because I was trying it out. This is the program I've been using for the last couple of weeks just to try out and to see if I like the program. This is the program I will be using personally for live streams in the future. So yeah. So I'm gonna be answering questions also while we're in the chat. I'm gonna start with this prediction between LTE and Red Eagle Politics. I will start answering questions in the chat as you guys bring in more suggestions of things to do. So for to begin with, I think LTE is actually he's actually a Republican, but he's an anti-Trump Republican. So I'm gonna run him as a Democrat, and Red Eagle Politics, I will run him as a Republican. So where do I think LTE will probably get all the base states for the Democrats like Joe Biden has right now, for the most part. I think he could actually carry some of these states by larger margins that the current Democrats do, but against very many different things. So Uriel, you're asking, what do I think of Trump? I mean, and Biden. I mean, at this point, I feel like I'm gonna cut some slack for Trump. I personally do not go on his side. Right now, I'm still in the position of picking, but I'm going to give Donald Trump a lot of credit because he deserves more credit at this point. Because at this point, a lot of the things that are happening across the nation are completely being blamed. They're being blamed on him. Of course, he is the president. However, I mean, they're not giving him credit when credit is due, in my opinion. If I choose time to run for president, probably in the 2050s or 2060. Yeah, me too. I mean, also you have to become a politician first, usually, or be notable so you can get the support. So I mean, essentially what would need to happen is start your political career as early as possible, whether it's running for mayor in a small town or something. Okay, so you guys can see me, that's great. So, in this scenario, there's a lot of states that would look different. I think the South would be pretty safe for, Red Eagle Politics, just because he has a, yeah, I mean, I think at this point, Red Eagle Politics has a stronghold on the Southern vote. I mean, LTE doesn't have as much, I guess, support amongst minorities, I would say. He does have support amongst minorities, especially more than REP, but I wouldn't say it's completely full. Sorry, I was taking a sip of water. So, I think this is where we will start off the map for REP versus LTE. And from here, I think, honestly, for the most part, states like Nevada, Colorado, even states like, I guess, New Hampshire, the Northeast, I would say would go for REP. In this scenario, then I would say that, or for LTE in this scenario, then from there, I would say that, think also that, he would carry states like Virginia as well by a likely margin. I don't know why I did not fill that in. And from there, I think REP could carry states like Iowa, Ohio, Texas, and Georgia by likely margins, because he does have that appeal amongst the Republican voters that we're seeing. And I'm going to do a Trump prediction if you guys want, Biden versus Trump. And then, we have that. So then, I would give, Arizona, Alaska, I would give that, by a lean margin to REP, but Arizona, I would say, would go to, LTE. I would say he would carry Michigan, and I say he would carry, Minnesota. And I think, he would also carry Nebraska second. However, I mean, I think honestly that REP would carry Alaska by a lean margin. And then from there, I think he could carry Florida by a lean margin as well as North Carolina. REP, and then I think here is going to be very tight. I think it's going to be, a toss-up in Pennsylvania. I think REP could narrowly win in the state of Wisconsin. Essentially, the election comes down to Wisconsin. So, but put me as an independent. Okay, I will do that, Brady. So yeah, so this is what I think with the REP versus LTE prediction. I would say, honestly, the state of Pennsylvania would probably tilt to REP because he appeals to the Rust Belt voters. I think that's what it would look like. So what do you guys think? I will do more predictions. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm reading the chat from my phone right here. So that if I'm looking down, it's why, it looks a little weird. Actually, I should do this. I'm going to put this up here so it doesn't cover my face. Yeah, so you guys probably would be able to see me here. Tell me if you guys can still hear me. If not, I'll just put more volume on the on the microphone. Yes, so this is my last prediction, my final prediction for LTE versus Red Eagle politics. I think in this election, I think he will narrowly win. So, let's see if any questions that we have in the chat. RTP, I don't know. I really don't watch much of their videos. I used to, but not anymore. Okay, I agree with everything but Alaska likely Republican, Michigan tilt Democrat. Yeah, I mean, I would say that Red Eagle Politics is the strong candidate for the Midwest, especially since Ethan from LTE lacks that specific region of the country. I mean, he really does lack in certain areas, so I think that honestly would be very good for him. So yeah. Oh, TNT to go. I really liked your election night. So guys, I have a special announcement. So TNT to go is one of my subscribers, and he designed an election night and he asked me to present it, so I'm going to present it. Go check out his channel. He does political content. So he made the election night, and I will give him a shout out. And yeah, so go check out TNT the Goat. So let me read some of the questions on the chat before I go on to the next prediction you guys wanted me to do. So I'm going to probably do something else later. Okay. REP should get his home state. What's his home state? I'm not sure, but it depends. Because if I'm correct, isn't it North Carolina? What is the relation of Putin with Trump? I'm going to say the following. Collusion, and I think that the collusion for interference makes no sense, especially if it's helping the Republicans. There is a global campaign against Republicans from parts by governments that are somewhat far to the left, I would say, like China, Cuba, Venezuela, at this point, sometimes Russia, that they're trying to get Democrats to win, because I think it would be a lot easier, and not only I, but I think they think it's a lot easier for them to push the agenda like that. Okay, that's cool, TNT to go. Okay, Shirley Baker versus Ro Khanna. I will do that right now, but I have to get a new map. Let me see if I could. I have to just go to yamps.com. This is the political predictor I use. This is the best. And yeah, so I'm going to say like what I said before, with the political interference. This point in time, I think it's not going to be as impactful in the election. I also find the USPS claim to be a little bit BS. I mean, it still is, I guess, kind of valid, just because of how abrupt it happened. But as well, you have to consider it's not only the election, but also many different things that are also affecting it. So let me find the 2024 projection so I could do the live prediction that Progressive Rising said. But that election is my opinion of Biden's biggest path to victory. Yeah, I noticed. I don't think so. I think, like, honestly, at this time, the election is definitely going to be... There's going to be external forces, like always, affecting the election. But I think foreign interference, which will really help the Democrats, I think it's probably not going to happen. As well as the mail-in voting, it might be affected, but I think the Democrats are pushing for a universal, send everybody in the country a ballot type of thing. Or the Republicans are saying you can vote in person, or you could request your absentee ballot like normal. So what do you guys think? I want to see what you guys think. I want you guys to tell me in the chat what you think about that. Do you think it should be universal, absolutely everyone gets mailed a ballot? Or do you think it should be that you can request a ballot and then or vote in person? Look, I think, like, honestly, at this point in time, going back to, like, 2016, there's many, I think collusion was not a thing. Was there some sort of influence? Yeah, but it's not collusion. Collusion is when they go physically in, tamper things, all these different things. So, and before we start this prediction, I want to talk about why Hillary Clinton lost in 2016. I want to get your opinions in, I want to see your opinions in the chat. I'm going to give you, I think, 5 major reasons why Hillary Clinton lost in 2016. We are supposed to have a secret ballot. I don't trust mail-in balloting because, yeah, you know, you're right. But, I mean, I talked about the mail-in, like, the mail is something that it's going to be very, very interesting to see because, again, the mail carriers are broke. I mean, the USPS is broke because companies like Amazon, UPS are coming in and they're taking a big amount of market share from the post office that used to have a lot of things, but I think at this point it's going to be very bad. So, okay, going back to Hillary Clinton, I think that one, she was very unpopular, just generally speaking. Two, Donald Trump never gave up. I mean, there are many situations in the campaign now, and many is an understatement, like thousands of, I mean, I would be exaggerating there, but many scenarios where Donald Trump could have and maybe should have dropped out. However, he didn't. He kept on fighting, and he got there. 3, the email scandals and WikiLeaks, very bad timing for Hillary Clinton. I would say 4, very bad campaign organization. Like, her campaign wasn't functional, especially because, like, she loved to, like, so if for example, here's the thing. When Hillary Clinton spoke to you, she would say, if you told her, I lost my job in the Rust Belt, she would have said, oh yeah, and I could fix it by doing this. But Donald Trump would have been, I guess, when he was campaigning, a little bit more sympathetic with the voters, which really hurt Hillary Clinton in the Rust Belt, essentially losing her the election. So, what do you guys think? Yeah, she barely campaigned in the Rust Belt. Democrats need to nominate a more populist and progressive candidate. I think if you nominate a more progressive candidate right now, they're going to lose the election, maybe by a substantial margin. However, I think nominating a populist is a good idea. Populism is not too great, I would say, even though, I mean, the current Republican Party and actually the Democratic Party, they're very populist right now. I think populism, it's good sometimes, but like, if you go too populist, it's not good. Everything is good in moderation. So it's going to be very interesting to see a lot of these different things happen. I mean, and also, I think the future of the Democratic Party lies in the progressive movement. And there's going to be a point where both sides, I mean, over the last couple years, I mean, over the last decade, I would say, we saw a big shift in political movements. We saw the parties went from kind of like moderated to, right now, there's 2 big extremes. I would say one extreme is more serious than the other. I'm not going to say which one is. You guys are going to try to guess. New moderates keep balance. You're a left-wing moderate. Okay. Biden is a very old video already. That is his first handicap. You know, the Democrats, I think, made a mistake running Biden. Essentially what they're doing, I think, and here's the problem. Biden is essentially not the problem. What becomes the problem is more that they're running on a message as, we want a new system. They want, differences. They want unity. However, Biden campaign, one, I mean, he's been there for 15,000 years, I guess. He's been, he served in Congress, he started serving in the Senate over 40 years ago. And, I mean, that's not going to be a good look, especially when a big amount of the Republican, or the Democratic base, they want change. They want someone new. Which, again, also baffled me that they choose Bernie Sanders as their leader. But, again, I guess he really fights that. I'm going to create an MMA fight prediction and see how channel. Okay, that would be cool. How do I pass the first 100 subs? I mean, I think at this point, Brady, it's just dedication, and if you stay consistent, you will be able to do it. Argentina is in a great bad issue right now. You know, you're right. I mean, ever since Macri got kind of cut off by the head by the Kirsteners and their little puppet Fernandez, Argentina has gone into somewhat of economic spiral. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, a lot of, I think, the foreign policy for the U.S. is going to be crucial in the next couple of years. And I think the Trump administration has done very good foreign policy. So, let's get started with this prediction. What prediction did you guys want to see? Tell me down in the chat. Yep. Kamala, I think at this point, it's not a great pick. I think they thought beforehand she would have done amazing. 1, her record is starting to show. 2, I think she has fake charisma in some certain areas. Because, I mean, Kamala Harris is charismatic, but she's overly charismatic. And, you know, there's a point when you're overly charismatic that it seems like you're being fake. I think it's very notable with Kamala, and I think that's really going to hurt her and the Democratic Party. So, I want you guys to tell me which what prediction you guys want me to do down in the chat. So yeah, let's see. Haven't gotten anything down in the chat. I'll wait for that, I guess. I want to keep on talking about Kamala. I think that honestly, if Biden loses the election, Kamala will be a reason at this point. Just because Kamala is not going to help him out too much. I think here's Kamala's problem. She doesn't resonate with African Americans that much. Yeah, she does, but not that much. And she doesn't have like one big group of people that she could go fall on. Her supporters are very diverse, which I mean at this point in time I guess is good for the Democratic Party, but I mean it's not that strong if they're focusing on the African American. Okay, politics. As of today, what do I think is going to win? Okay, as of today, due to the conventions and all the firing up, whatever, I think Biden's winning. I want to see what happens maybe 2 weeks after the Republican National Convention. I want to see what the actual campaigning looks like. Because, I mean, we've honestly only been through the early stages of campaigning, which, if we know 2016 is worth absolutely nothing. I mean, Hillary Clinton was leading by substantial margins in places where Biden is currently leading, and she lost it by 1, 2, 3, 4% in some cases. So, yeah. Trump versus Amy. So, Donald Trump or Amy Klobuchar? I'm going to say the following. Like, the election is not as certain as I thought it is after taking a deep analysis of it. Because I made a video, I said Biden's victory is imminent. And I decided to, like, think about it, and I thought about it, and I said, well, I mean, Donald Trump's moment to shine usually, if you've seen the last election, the last 30 days. He's one of those people, and I said this in my last video, if you guys haven't checked it out, it's up on the channel. It's about the JHK forecast analysis. And I said that, honestly, Donald Trump shines. He's the king of impromptu. I think that was actually Biden's imminent video. So that was my last video. But, yeah. You're going to watch the convention. Oh, right. The convention's on today. I forgot about that. But, yeah. Who's speaking today? I think it's Bernie and stuff like that. So, yeah, watch the convention. I decided, yesterday started watching the convention. And I didn't like it that much because essentially they're over-politicizing COVID-19, which gets me mad. I mean, we're supposed to be united as a nation in general, but I mean, especially with COVID-19, I think that's honestly very, very, very bad, but the Democrats have started to politicize it, and essentially what are they politicizing? That Trump hasn't done anything, and I think credit is due for Trump. I mean, governors deserve to get the same blame as the Democrats. Now we'll run from October 13th to 30th. So it's moved up, like, up the schedule, so it's earlier or later. I think usually early voting should be a little bit earlier. And that would give us a bigger indication on election night. And guys, remember, I think at this point, don't be surprised if we don't get results by election night. We're probably going to find out who wins the election well into mid-November. Just because of vote counting, whatever else it is. And God forbid, or whatever you believe in forbid, we have a contested race, which Jill Clinton, I mean, I think you think Joe Biden. It's been expanded. Okay, that's what I thought. That's good, I guess, because, I mean, that gives them a bigger chance to vote. And I think, honestly, it's in the best interest of everyone to vote. Yeah, I mean, Kamala is really sinking the vote of the election. Not good for the Biden campaign. Kamala was not the best pick. Out of the people that were still in consideration, I think a Susan Rice would have been the best pick. But again, you have the baggage from Benghazi. A lot of these people that the Democrats were looking at had a lot of baggage, or at least some baggage, which was not good. I think an Amy Klobuchar would have a great pick, but then attorney, Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, officers, related things, that's not good. Oh, okay, so they have early voting, because, I mean, that's good, but they expanded it, so 10 days more, or a week more. That's good, because then that gives, like, people the chance to go out and vote in person. I think the election should be conducted like this. I don't know if you guys agree with me. I think we should get, like, the huge convention centers, and just have everyone go there, and have everyone separated, and if people want, they could go pick up their ballot in person, and not get mailed. Guys, looking on what Trump does nowadays about other companies in abroad to come to USA, it's good for re-election, absolutely, and especially in this area of the country where a lot of these places have been hard hit with problems regarding the economy and things like that. Yeah, Chris, you're right. It's a little early, but out of the initial aftershocks and after waves, not a great pick. However, we're going to be able to judge the final decision. How did it do for the Biden campaign after we find out who reaches 270 electoral votes first, which, again, going to be an interesting election night to see. And, I think that kind of sucks that the election night won't be, it won't be the same feeling that you're going to find out that night. You're going to have to find out a couple days later, which, if you ask me, it kind of takes the excitement out of election night. They've done something like that in Atlanta where they're using Atlanta Hawks Stadium as a voting station. I think that is great. So that's the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That's actually a really cool stadium. I've been there before. And essentially, that's the best thing to do because, one, you can increase the capacity of voters and have a large amount of voters. Again, it has to be something with like roof, so the machines, if it rains or whatever, if you're going to do in hand. Or even if you have a paper ballot, what you could do, not a great idea, but you could take your ballot to your car, put it in an envelope, and then just drop it into the ballot box. I think that would be good. I think, honestly, the thing about this election is that we're not going to be able to tell what essentially is going to be going on, just because, we do not know how the election is held. If there is no big mail-in voting or whatever, it's going to be very bad for the Democrats, but I think there's alternatives to have safe voting, but have polling stations open. I think polling stations are key in elections because it's going to make the process of tabulating a lot quicker. Who do you think about Ed Rogan? Who's Ed Rogan? Let me see, because I don't know who that is. I'm guessing. Okay, the president of Turkey. I haven't looked into, to be honest with you, into a lot of the Turkey with U.S. policy that much. It's interesting because I know there's tension there, but I think they've started to work together in some things, but I think the biggest tension right now is not even in Turkey in the Middle East when it was maybe a couple weeks ago, but right now I think the biggest tension is with Lebanon and what happened. The president of Turkey, yeah. So, okay, yeah. I know that U.S. relations with Turkey are not the best they've ever been. However, they've somewhat improved because then, there's like the conflict where the Turkish, they went in and went to Kurdistan, which not great. Yeah, talking about foreign policy, so I want to talk a little bit about foreign policy and, foreign governments. Other than the U.S., and essentially, I think the biggest unstable area, at least when it comes to politics right now, is definitely the Middle East. And I think Donald Trump was able to, the fact that he was able to get but Israel and the UAE to collaborate, that's great. You essentially made peace in an area of the world which is pretty hard to make peace. Yeah, now that I think of it, I think I remember him. I don't remember, too many other politicians by name. I remember the president's name, President of whatever. So, now that I remember a little bit more, I think that I do remember him having that authoritarian kind of character. I think, honestly, that Vladimir Putin is kind of an authoritarian leader. I don't know if you guys agree with me. Ed Rogan. Yeah, Latin American policy right now is very insane because there is, I guess, a lot of more leftist governments going into power, which, the Trump campaign, or Trump in general doesn't like. And essentially, a lot of the countries are heading in paths where they could get to what Venezuela or Cuba are currently. More like Venezuela, because Cuba didn't really go through that many struggles. But, we can see there's sides. We have the sides where the people revolted, like in Bolivia, and they kicked out Evo Morales, who was the president, and he kind of stole the elections. and they put on their own president, democratically chosen, I guess, through the House of the Senate, or, well, she was president of Bolivian Senate. Now she is the president of Bolivia, so that is Anin Chavez. So that's like a good part. But then also have in Argentina the Kirsteners, who have kind of gone on Argentina and made it go into an economic spiral. After again they did it first. I mean, Mauricio Macri, former president of Argentina, was doing pretty good. By pink tide, what do you mean? Like, if you explain to me pink tide and what the terminology is used, I probably would be able to. Yeah, you know, a lot of these foreign politicians, I would say, especially the ones that are authoritarian in their own countries, have a lot of faces. They have the faces to lead with the people, with their neighbors, and with big powers. So we're gonna see that that differentiation between politicians in many different places. So I'm gonna do a prediction. So tell me, guys, what you guys want to see in the next, like, in this live prediction that I'm doing right now. Oh, you know what there is today? There's actually primaries in Florida. I haven't checked the results today. I think some results might be out, but I know there's early voting. Yeah, you know, I want to see what happens there. Okay, there's some races in Alaska. We're not going to have that yet. Yeah, that's Alaska. So we have the primary city. We're going to see if Al Gross actually gets elected. And that's going to be interesting to see. So we're going to look at the decision desk. Florida, so, okay, we have the primaries, which are interesting. Matt Gaetz got, he won his nomination again. Surprisingly, because, I mean, he wasn't that popular because he was, like, controversial but stuff, but... so I want to take a quick round of these results, and then we'll do the live prediction. Florida House 3 for the Democratic side. I mean, this is this is Ted Yoho's old seat. Kat Kamek actually won the primary. That's interesting. I'll have to update that on my predictions, because I thought Judson Sapp was gonna win. They already called the race. Yeah, Florida House 3, this is Ted Yoho's old seat. Gonna be interesting to see who wins. Very down the middle. I mean, look on the side of the Democrats. 34% to 33% to 32%. Insane. So House 3, that's a big primary. Kat Kamek won the nomination for the Republicans. Probably most likely going to become the next House member from that district. Florida House 4, Jen Rutherford, incumbent, won renomination. He won renomination. Al Lawson, that's Tallahassee area. Gary Adler and Roger Wagoner. Pink tide was used in the 90s and 2000s, where a bunch of left-wing politicians were elected president. Well, you know, I do remember there's like a big period of time. I would say it started from essentially the when Bush invaded Panama. It was Manuel Noriega, and that turned to Chavez, that turned into Evo Morales, and that turned into the Kirsteners in Argentina and things like that. So yeah, we're gonna analyze that a lot more in later on. Okay, so they still haven't called this race for the district, although it doesn't really matter because that's a Republican district. 7th district, if I'm correct, this is Stephanie Murphy's seat. If I'm correct, 7th district, or is she 9th district? I think she's 7th district, so this would be Stephanie Murphy's opponent. She's one of the more closer races. Current 38 to 37, that's interesting. Bill Posey won his race. Olson won the nomination. Francois won her nomination. Florida House 13, Anna Luna won her nomination. If I'm correct, I think that is this is Val Deming's seat. So, she essentially won that nomination. That's her opponent now. I'm going to quickly go through these results. I don't want to bore you guys. Ross Pino's actually losing in his race right now. Not good in his primary. If Ross Pino loses his primary, not going to be a good look. Let me see. More details. Okay, I'll watch this later. But that's not good for Ross Pino. I'll have to go all the way down again. So those are the two big primaries today, which actually they're very interesting. Let me see if I can find my district. Brian Mascott there, for House 19. 20, Elsie Hastings, Louise Frankel, Laura Loomer. 23, Wilson Schultz already won. Federico Wilson. Carlos Jimenez won the primary easily. That's gonna be against that's Debbie Mercosel Powell and Maria Salazar, the candidate that Donna Shalala defeated, won the primary. So, what prediction do you guys want to see? I went through the results quickly, and we can do a 2020 prediction. You guys can choose the map, and we can do the prediction together. So, what prediction do you guys want to see? Please put it down in the chat right now. So I will see what you guys want to do for this live prediction. Well, not all of them, but some of them are. And some of them have disappeared. I mean, Evan Morales disappeared. He's still alive. Who else? Christianers are in power in Argentina through a secondary position, but they're the ones pulling the strings. Who else? I mean, there were some, I guess, in Colombia, in some places, but I mean, with Latin American politics, I'm familiar like a lot more. 2010 forward. Putin versus Xi Jinping. I mean, I don't know what side to put either of them because I think both of them are Democrats. So let me see. I don't know what to do there. Okay, AMLO in Mexico, of course. Yeah. So he was nominated. Oh, and I saw that the Dominican Republic, they got a more like a Trump type president, and Luis Abinader. He's a businessman, and he's essentially the Dominican Trump. That brings another Xi Jinping, Putin and Xi Jinping are more friends than Putin and Trump. Yeah, so I want you guys to tell me, like, let's try a U.S. politician matchup. Do you have, like, any ideas in the chat? Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to agree with you, real dear. Both are dictators, one a little bit more extreme than the other. I'm talking about Xi Jinping, who's a little bit more dictatorship than, Vladimir Putin, but still, they're both dictators. So let's see. I want to see if anyone has any ideas for this live prediction. So, okay, actually I might just choose a matchup. I'm going to see if you guys agree. I'm going to give you one more chance. Let's see if anyone puts anything. Mitch McConnell versus Chuck Schumer. Thank you, Brady. Okay, Mitch. I'm going to put Moscow. Mitch. Does someone want to give me a kind of mean nickname for Chuck Schumer? Let's call him Corrupt Chuck. That rhymes. Okay, so Jeff Flake versus Stacey Abrams. I will do that next. Okay, so I think honestly, since they're both unpopular, it's just gonna come down to who is less hated, and I think that's Chuck Schumer. I think that honestly, I think at this point it would look something like this, the map. Chuck Schumer, I think he would carry the Midwest for the most part. I think he would carry all those different states, win all of that, probably win here. I think Mitch McConnell would win all of these states. He essentially wins there. He wins kind of the South area. Again, this race would have been kind of close, I guess, because they're unpopular, both of them. And then what would happen here is that I'm just going to fill it in like this. He would win here, and he would win here, and probably here. Here, I think Mitch McConnell would win here and here. This is what I think a Chuck Schumer versus Mitch McConnell race would be looking like. Hey, Jordan, how are you? And guys, I also really wanted to thank you again for reaching 500 subscribers. I mean, that's a very big milestone for this channel. We've been working hard to get here, and I mean, it's glad to know. I'm glad to know there's 500 people who are part of the Purple Political Talk family, if you could call it that. Do you guys agree with this Chuck Schumer versus Mitch McConnell prediction? Tell me down in the chat. So I think I might just do another map while you guys are at that, and let's do. So I saw Jeff Flake versus Stacey Abrams, AOC versus Trump. I will do that. I will do Stacey Abrams versus Jeff Flake, and then I will do AOC versus Trump. So I'm using 2020 map. So yeah, Jeff Flake. I think Jeff Flake would do pretty good in certain areas of the country compared to Stacey Abrams. Jeff Flake, Stacey Abrams. What does mean AOC? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. That's AOC. Okay, so I think here that Stacey Abrams will do pretty good, I guess, where the Democrats usually do good, and I think actually this area would be a lot more contested because he's from Arizona and he's actually pretty popular in the area. I think pretty much that would be pretty much. I'm just gonna fill up a map how I think it would be on election day. So starting like that, I'll just fill in all the maps, the whole map. I think that honestly he probably could win here, and I think Jeff Flake could carry this. I think he could probably carry that, and that. This looks very crazy prediction. I think still Jeff Flake would carry that and that, but I think Stacey Abrams would be able to carry here, and then all up the East Coast. Looks like a very weird map, but I think it's possible. Actually, now that I look at it, it looks a little like off. But I think honestly that I think Jeff Flake could win here, and then Stacey Abrams could probably win here and here, win there and there. But I think that's what the map would look like. What do you guys think? This Jeff Flake versus Stacey Abrams prediction. Tell me what you think down in the chat. So I think Brady asked for an AOC versus Trump prediction, so let's go that. So let's do AOC versus Trump. Very interesting prediction to look at, I guess. So let's take a look at it. Okay. Clear map, and let's go to USA and get the presidential map. Yeah, I mean, but he had low approval ratings, but I guess he was pretty popular when he was in office. I guess when he left, it was Kavanaugh hearings, so that might have hurt him, especially since he has a moderate base. So we have Trump versus AOC. I think AOC would be defeated by Trump, and very nastily, because she would have lost that election by a lot. I think Trump would carry, AOC would probably carry these states. She would carry Hawaii. She would carry the usual states. I think that she would carry, I'm going to do by margins here so you guys can see the perspective. I think she would carry the states that almost all Democrats carry, except with the exception of the state of Maine at large. I think actually would be contested. I think she would only carry Maine's first. Is that it? I'm missing a state. Or maybe I'm not. Because, yeah, it's 4 electoral votes there. Think I might be missing something. But we'll just go with it. I think then Trump would carry, like, a lot of states. I think in an AOC versus Trump scenario, Texas could be likely. AOC would definitely get destroyed. I think the 2nd congressional district in Nebraska could actually be contested. The South, I think, would deeply go for Trump. With the exception, I guess, of Georgia, which would probably go by a little bit less. So, right there, I think South Carolina, Indiana. So from here, I think Trump would win a lot of these seats by likely margins. Like here, probably by a likely margin. Here, by a likely margin. If Bernie Sanders, who's like more like than AOC, can't win the primary in Florida, I think AOC probably won't be able to win Florida as a whole. I think he would do like a likely margin here. I think then AOC could carry what by a likely margin? I would say that Maine's likely, Maine's at large, would be likely, I guess. Then after that, for AOC, then I think Trump could carry states like Arizona by lean margins, Colorado by Colorado and Nevada maybe by lean actually no, Nevada I would say would be for AOC, but I think he would carry at least Arizona. Yeah, it might go by for Trump by 5 points. I think he would carry at least Wisconsin and Pennsylvania by at least 3 or 5 points. Then I think AOC could carry New Mexico by maybe a lean margin. I think she could carry Colorado by a likely margin. I forgot to put that one in. I think she could carry Nevada by a lean margin. Then I think Trump could carry Virginia by a tilt margin. I think he could carry Minnesota by a tilt margin. I think AOC could carry Michigan by a tilt margin. I think that AOC would also carry. She's from the north. She could carry this district by a narrow margin. I think she could carry New Hampshire by a narrow. Actually, Trump wins New Hampshire, I would say. And then AOC loses again in Maine second. So this is my map for AOC versus Trump. I think AOC would get destroyed. 316 to 222. Yeah, so Donald Trump has worsened his scenario picking Kamala. What do you guys think of this map? Do you think it's accurate with an AOC versus Trump scenario? So, let's see. AOC 2040. I think AOC would probably run for president. Her first time, 2032. Yeah, so imagine that the president, whoever it is in 2024, runs for 2 terms. I think AOC would run for 2032. And then after that, I think she could run like 2 or 3 times if she loses nomination. Pence versus Biden if Trump resigns. Okay, that's interesting. Let's clear the map. If Trump resigns, I think it's going to be a bad look for the Republican Party. So, do you guys want me to do a primary prediction? So, give me like a bunch of like primary candidates. Pence versus Biden. So, I think honestly, Biden will like smoke Pence in a lot of these states. I think Hawaii. I think, of course, New Mexico. I'm just gonna put. I'm not gonna worry about margins. I think the map will look something like this. No, maybe that. I think, honestly, best case scenario, if Trump resigns, it would be a very good map for the Democrats. So it's looking like that. New Hampshire, all of that. This district, everything else goes to Pence. I think the Dems could win all of that if against Pence. No, if Trump resigned, something bad must have happened. So I think essentially this is what the map would look like. So do you guys want to do a so I'm gonna do a. Do you guys want me to do a primary prediction? Would that be interesting? I think if Biden resigns because of the hospital, it would be a different story, I would guess, than if Trump resigns because he did something in office. I think imagine that it's Trump against Kamala. I think Trump could salvage the map somehow. I think he could win here, this district here. He could win this district here. We're back to our regular scenario right now. And I think against Kamala, he could probably carry like Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. And then probably Florida and North Carolina. And then from there, I think that was what the map would look like if it would be Kamala versus against. Okay, so you guys want me to do a Republican primary or a Democratic primary? Dem or Republican? Which one do you want me to do? Let's do a 2024 Democratic primary. Okay, so I need candidates. So, oops, let me delete the sidebar. And I'm going to do candidates for 2024 again. So give me, okay, so I'm gonna delete some candidates because I can't have all of them. So let me delete. I'm gonna have 5 candidates for this primary, and they'll be dropping out, and we're gonna see who they endorse and stuff. So tell me the candidates you guys want to see. I'm gonna pick the first 5 in the chat, so you have to send them in individually. Or I have 4. Let me have to add 1. Do what I think will run. Okay, in 2024, I think it's going to be Harris against. For the Democrats, I think Buttigieg could run again. Buttigieg against. Who do you guys think? Maybe Andrew Yang? No. Abrams. Ooh, Abrams. Okay, yeah, Abrams. Cuomo. And Newsom. So I'm going to add Newsom. So this is the primary. AOC won't run in 2024. Which color do we not have? We don't have yellow. It's going to be Gavin. So do you guys put Newsom or AOC? Tell me what you guys think. Warren. I don't think Warren runs in 2024. I think it's between Newsom or AOC. Who should I put in? Okay, I'm gonna do the poll right now. Newsom or AOC, you guys choose in the chat. AOC, so AOC it is. Maybe I'll take out Buttigieg and put in, should I put out Buttigieg and put in Newsom? Do you guys think, tell me what you guys think. Should I take out Newsom? Or do I put Kennedy or Newsom instead of Buttigieg? Or do I keep Buttigieg? Well, I mean, you could say Abrams is progressive. I'll leave it like this. So, with this map, I think the early favorites are definitely Harris, Cuomo, or Abrams. So, let's start. In Iowa, I think the primary, it would go... Buttigieg would probably more. Cuomo would probably win the Iowa primary, or if they do primary caucus. I think Cuomo would win there. Maybe I would say by not that much because there's a lot of candidates. Then I think Buttigieg would come in second. Whoops. There you go. Buttigieg would come like second place. I think Harris in second place to Harris. Then Harris would come like in third. We still have a lot of delegates, so I find a way to... Maybe I'll give Cuomo a little bit more. I give Buttigieg a little more. Just gonna be like a little bit of what I think the delegates might look like. And then 9 delegates, I think AOC can take 6. And Abrams takes the rest. This is what I think it would look like in Iowa. And you guys tell me when you guys think a candidate should drop out. So, should a candidate drop out in Iowa? Start saying in the chat. So, the next thing I'm going to do is New Hampshire. Again, I think here's going to be very good for Buttigieg, Cuomo, and AOC. I think, honestly, Cuomo wins this primary again. Probably winning like 6 delegates. I think Buttigieg wins maybe 3. Harris, or give like Cuomo maybe a less victory. 5 delegates to Buttigieg 3. To Harris's 2. To AOC's 3. To Abrams, to Abrams 1 delegate, and then I'll divide the two other delegates between Cuomo and Buttigieg. 6 and 3. Yeah, Abrams should start considering it because she has only 4 delegates compared to Cuomo, who has a lot. So let's do that right now. Let's suppose Stacey Abrams runs out. Who do you think Stacey Abrams would endorse? Who do you guys think Stacey Abrams would endorse? And we'll give her delegates right now to whoever that is. So, while you guys put that, we're going to go to the next primary, which, if I'm correct, the state of Nevada. I think here it would be very good for Harris and AOC, as well as possibly Andrew Cuomo. I think Harris would win here by maybe like 38%, win 14 delegates. Then I think Cuomo would get, 14, there we go. I think Cuomo could get like 10 or no, more like 7. Buttigieg or AOC can get probably like 6. Buttigieg 3, and then I give 1 more to you. I give 1 more to you, and actually I give you 2. And give them tied, I guess. Like that, and then Stacey Abrams get nothing. Abrams will endorse Harris, so we didn't give Abrams anything there. So let's say Abrams drops out. We give those 3 delegates to Kamala Harris, meaning that she wins technically in Iowa, or actually no, she loses still to Cuomo. And in New Hampshire, she doesn't get barely anything, so it would be 1 more delegate, which she goes a long way. It's pretty substantial amount. So right now the totals are 28 for Harris, Buttigieg, AOC, and Cuomo. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm going to every little while I'm gonna choose someone to drop out. Or you guys are going to choose someone to drop out, so then I can like factor that in. The next primary, the state of South Carolina, I think here is going to be very good. Abrams not in the running. Very good for Kamala Harris, I would say, but it would be tight between her. I would say partly Cuomo, like maybe 6%. Nah, maybe like 3 delegates for Cuomo in South Carolina. AOC, I mean Kamala Harris would probably get a lot, say 50%. Buttigieg could get like maybe 10. AOC could get 7, and then I'll give a little bit more to Cuomo and more for Buttigieg. AOC should run for Senate. I think that'll be the best pick, and I think right now Harris is winning. So now since everything else is very randomized, I'm just gonna go through random states and imagine that's the order. So let's go with Florida. I think here is gonna be Cuomo Harris country, as well as I guess sub votes for Buttigieg right there, and then I think Buttigieg would get like a big amount of delegates, and then AOC would probably get the rest, maybe a little bit less. Buttigieg, I think that's what Florida would look like for Cuomo. I think Cuomo would be the favorite. California, let's say that usually goes first now. I think Harris would probably win there. Actually, Harris, I don't think she would win in California, surprisingly. I think AOC would get a lot of delegates here. I think that Cuomo would also get a lot of delegates. Maybe a little bit less for AOC. I think it would be tight, and Buttigieg just gets 55. So what do you guys think of this map? I think actually Harris loses her own state. And after this, I mean, it puts a clear lead in who should be dropping out soon, with Cuomo and Harris in the lead. State of Arizona, I think here, it would be good for Harris. I mean, maybe 25%. Buttigieg would do pretty good here because he's moderate. Sorry about that. Buttigieg, I think Cuomo would narrowly win the primary, and then everything else for AOC. So who do you guys think should drop out now? Another dropout. I want to narrow down the race to 3 people. So put that in the chat. Who should be dropping out? Whoever the first pick is, I will choose that. Buttigieg. It's Buttigieg dropping out. So who does Buttigieg endorse? So when I say drop out, also endorse the person. So Buttigieg loses all his delegates. Who does he endorse? I think, honestly, Buttigieg would probably endorse Harris or Cuomo. I think I'm leaning more to Cuomo. Yeah, let's do that. We eliminate the least delegates, and then who does he endorse? Probably Cuomo. So let's give those delegates to Cuomo, which means he wins California primary. And that goes away, and he actually he comes very close in Nevada. We take out Buttigieg, he landslide in Arizona. When it comes to Iowa, take out Buttigieg, that's landslide for Cuomo. Florida, you take out, there you go. Take out Buttigieg, that's pretty big margin for Cuomo. South Carolina, take out Buttigieg, give them to Cuomo. Very big lead accumulating. That's a big endorsement for Cuomo. And I guess Vermont. Oh, I actually did Vermont instead of New Hampshire. Whoops. Buttigieg, and then give them all to Cuomo. Let's go to New Hampshire. That's the intended state. Here I think Cuomo would do pretty good. I mean, I would think that would be that, and then here, and then there. Maybe a little bit less here, and then 7 for Harris. I think that's how it will look. I'm gonna just go random filling states at this point. I think the city of New York would probably massively vote for Cuomo. A little bit for Harris. I think Harris would probably lose there, and then AOC gets 52% from New York City votes. I think honestly Pennsylvania, Cuomo would probably win here by maybe 50%. Harris takes like 30%. And AOC takes that much. Then from here, let's go to Texas. I think here it would be a very close race between Cuomo, Harris, and AOC. Maybe I'm gonna narrowly give it to AOC. I want to see her win her first primary. I think there are a lot of progressives in the state of Texas, and I think honestly the progressive vote. The moderate vote in the Democratic Party would be divided between Harris and Cuomo. So I think AOC could probably narrowly win Texas. Very big claim there. New Mexico, I think here, definitely more Harris support. I would say she wins the primary, and then Cuomo comes in that one, and then I think AOC narrowly loses. And I'm just gonna do one more state, so because I think I have to go right now because it's 9:30 and it's the hour is up. So what's the last state you guys want me to see who wins the primary? And then I'll just do super delegates right now. I think super delegates would overwhelmingly go for Cuomo. I think he would get they would go overwhelming him for him. Probably 25. They would mostly for Harris, and just a couple for AOC. Is there one more state you guys want me to do before I go? Essentially, super delegates are half of the process. They have a very big role in picking. So essentially, it's almost balanced completely down the middle. A little bit more undecided delegates. I think honestly, the race in 2024 could come down to Harris and Cuomo. Washington. Okay, let's do Washington. Here, I think that maybe Harris would win here. Maybe by that much. I think Cuomo would nearly behind her, and then AOC gets the rest. So that's the last prediction. I think, generally speaking, Cuomo wins the primary without doing all the results. I think Cuomo would have won anyways. I'm gonna have to go, but I want to thank all of you for watching. Like, subscribe, turn on post notifications if you haven't. So I'm guessing a lot of you have. And I really want to thank all y'all for coming, and a lot of you staying for the whole hour. Uriel, Brady, Progressive Rising, all of you that stayed until the end. And if you want to watch it completely back and you're just getting here, you're not missing anything. You can just go back to the beginning of the live stream and you can watch everything that we've done. We've done predictions, we've talked about stuff, and it's very interesting. And I plan to do these weekly or bi-weekly since I'm starting school soon. So that's going to be very interesting to see. So yes, so far you've also been here for a big part of the live stream. Again, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. It was very nice to see you all, and goodbye.